Hello everyone and welcome to my booktube reading with Janelle. I am Janelle and I guess I'm finally doing this. You can follow me on TikTok at Reading with Janelle and on Instagram at Reading with Janelle _ if you aren't doing so already. And if you are from there, I just want to thank you and say hi. Please feel free to subscribe and stick with me as I talk about all things books. So this video is very long overdue, and from reading the title, yes, it is correct. I'll be talking about my August reads. So stick with me. This is my first time doing a full length video on all the books I've read in a month. So I think I'll be starting off with all the arcs that I received for this month, for August I should say. For the month of August, I read 22 books and it put me in the fattest slump I've ever experienced. Okay, the first book was The Crash by Skye Warren and Amelia Wilde, and it was a novella and the prequel for their Deserted Island series. And I needed to read and review The Crash in order to be considered for the Force of Nature arc, which sadly I did not get, but I do plan on buying it because of how I felt about this novella. Now, The Crash follows June and Carter, and June is a photographer and Carter is a professor who just so happens to be a pilot, and he has been tasked to flying June to a small remote island where she was hired to photograph the wildlife species or some shit like that. I don't remember. But anyways, before they could even reach the island, the plane experienced some malfunction and they had to make an emergency landing on one remote island somewhere, and things got a bit heated, and that's all the novella gave us. Like, I really liked it. The chemistry between the two was off the charts, and the authors really pulled me in from the get-go, and I gave this book 4.25 stars. So I need to buy the ebook to read it so I can, like, satisfy my curiosity. Book 2 was Danger Zone by Brooke Blaine and Ella Frank, and it is book 1 in their Elite series, and I got the audiobook, and it was my first book, which I would recommend this series to anyone who wants to get their toes wet in romance, because like this was really light and it's nothing too out there that would scare anyone away. But I really enjoyed this book, and it follows Mateo, call sign Solo, and Grant, call sign Panther. They're both fighter pilots for the US Navy, and they are like training and competing at one of the most prestigious aviation academy in the world. It was narrated by Aiden Snow and Christian Fox, and let me tell you, these two narrators, they did such a good job because they had me blushing in public. Like, my poker face was non-existent. They did a really good job at capturing each character's personality, and whoever played Solo, like, I really love them. They really captured his playful and carefree nature, and they delivered the comic relief like spot on, and I really love that. I gave this 4.5 stars, and I think I'll be doing another video once I'm through listening to all 3 audiobooks, so look out for that. Book 3 was Irish Rogue by Lydia Michaels, another audiobook that I got. When I saw Irish Rogue, I was expecting one thing, but then I went in and started listening to the book, and I got something totally unexpected. Like, I was so far off. The main characters, Kelly and Ashlyn, and Kelly's a known ladies man, and Ashlyn is saving herself for marriage, and the two have known each other since high school, but they don't really interact with each other. Like, they live in a small town, so they know each other. And Kelly has decided that he's just going to avoid Ashley because, you know, she's all virginal and shit like that, and he just doesn't want to ruin her. But once Ashley decided that she wanted to start dating because, you know, she's getting older and she needs to start having a life, apparently, he starts getting jealous and it's like, oh no. But I don't think Kelly had realized that he's been in love with Ashley all this time. And I'm not gonna lie, Ashlyn's Catholic. They are both Catholic, and at one point I literally had to stop. I had to pause the audiobook and ask myself what the, and then Googled something because I was like, what is this? What is happening? Because let me tell you the situation. Like, there is one part where Kelly wanted to go through the back, you know, go in the back door. And Ashley was like, oh, I'll need to talk to the priest about that in confessionals. I'm like, what the hell? Like, why would you do that, you know? Why would you tell the priest about your sex life and that you're sucking your man's? Why? Like, she said she confessed that, you know, she has been giving him pleasure with her mouth, and it's considered a sin to them because, yeah, for Catholics, like, sexual intercourse, the outcome should involve procreation, and if she's taking it in her mouth, you know, that's not gonna happen. But I was like, do people really do this in real life? But anyways, like, how I felt was how Kelly felt, and I was just really shocked.
You're shocked? You're shocked?
And stunned. I honestly don't know how the author came up with that, but apart from that, I gave the book 4 stars. Book 4 was Deserving Alaska by Susan Stoker, and it was another arc I got already in August. And this book was not what I was expecting going in, because I saw Deserving Alaska. I was expecting some groveling, but it wasn't anything like that. And this was about, like, two people, they've known each other, like, since they were young, like before high school, whatever. And they've grown up. Like, when they graduated high school, one went to join the army, one just started doing whatever she felt like doing and traveling, working, whatever. And there are 2 incidents that brought them back together, but the last one is what shifted their relationship to be more intimate, something like that. It's been a while since I've read it, but even though it's not what I was expecting, I still enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. I do plan to check out Susan Stoker's book because it's ex-military. Like, I've been looking for books with ex-military in it, so she has a whole catalog of that. So I'll be checking out her other books, and this book was the first book in the refugee series or refuge series, so I do plan to read the others when it come out. Book 5 is another arc, What She Didn't Know, 2 of Widowhood and Murder by Patricia E. Jitt. And this one, it reminded me of my love for a good mystery / thriller book. And I didn't read book 1, but it wasn't too much. There wasn't too much questions that I had just reading the second book, like, off a whim, whatever. And it's about a woman whose husband died, like, a couple years back, and she moved to a new city to try and, like, cope with her new normal. And in the midst of doing that, she's thrown in a murder investigation. She's smack in the middle of a murder investigation, and the detective on it has, like, they they've developed some feelings for each other. So yeah, I gave this, I did not say how much I gave this. Shit. I think I gave it, let's say I gave it 4 stars. I gave it 4 stars. I gave it 4 stars. There's a third book coming out sometime in the future. I'll read it, and I'll read book 1 eventually. Book 6, another arc, was Dirty Ledger by Alta Hensley and Olivia Grant, and it is book 2 in the Dark Pen series, and it was published back in May. However, when I read this book, it was already out, because I got the first 2 books in the series because I had applied for the third book, which I'll get to like after this. I applied for the third book, Dangerous Notes, and I had to read and review the first 2 books. So I got that, and honestly I don't remember the character's name, but it's basically about this this girl who killed someone in self-defense, and it happened in a hotel, and she's friends with the hotel owner, so she called owner, whatever, and they got their friend Z to like just clean up the mess, because that's what he does. And the shit hit the fan, and they had to, you know, go off the grid. And them being in an enclosed area, you know, what is gonna come of that with 2 people who are attracted to each other from before they actually like met? So they got together. I gave this 4 stars. Now, book 7 for the month of August was Dangerous Notes, and it was the third book in the Dark Pen series by Alta Hensley and Olivia Grant, and it follows Atlas, who we met briefly in Dirty Ledger, and Valentina, and they're both art thieves who have been crossing paths for like a few years, and they have some kind of history. And I really love the tension between these 2 and the cat and mouse game that they played. And also all 3 books, I have to say, Dangerous Notes was my favorite, and I gave this one 4.5 stars. Now, they can be read as a standalone, but I do recommend reading them in order to actually enjoy and appreciate them more. Book 8 was Kiss the Girl by Samantha Chase, and it is book 11 in the Magnolia Sound series. Did I read the other 10 books? No, I did not. Will I read them? I do not know. I gave this book 4.5 stars. After reading it, I didn't really have much thoughts on it. Like, I still don't have much thoughts on it. It was a well-written book, and it brought me to tears, and evoked like some emotion that I've never felt while reading any other book. So I gave it 4.5 stars. I will say I'll be reading more of this author's work, but I don't know if I will ever read the other 10 books in the series. I'm not going to lie. Honestly, not going to lie. And book 9, which is the last arc that I received, was Shadows of the Soul by Adeline Winter, and I have been anticipating the release of this book for like the longest while, because I read book 1 earlier this year, and when I saw that the author was like accepting ARC readers, I took my tush and signed up, and bam, couple weeks later I got it. So I've really loved it. Like, I loved it. I love this book, and I gave it 5 stars. That's all I will say. That's all I will say. Read the book, you'll enjoy it. That's it for all the arcs, to be honest. Book 10 was Beast Castle by Ella Good, and honestly, I can't tell you what this book was about. What was the purpose of this book. When I read it, it was just to like cleanse my palate, but reading this book, I was just going off vibes. The book is a vibe. That's all. The book ended, and all I could think was, is that it? I gave it 4 stars on Goodreads, but I think my actual rating for the book was like 3.7 or something like that. But I don't know. I'm weirdly interested in reading the rest, like other books by the author, just to see if that's how if that is actually her writing style, because I'm just interested. Book 11 was Quickie by Penny Wilder, and it was a novella. I basically read novellas in between all the full length books. I was reading mostly the arcs just to get like, just for a palate cleanser and to, you know, not put myself in a reading slump, to say the least. This was a one night stand turned into oops, I married some random guy. And I'm not gonna lie, it was cute. It was cute. The plot would make for a good full length, I'm not gonna lie. I gave it 4 stars. Book 13 was His Dirty Author, also by Penny Wilder. I gave it 4 stars. And reading this, all I could think was, I want to be the author so bad. I want to be that author so bad, because who doesn't love an older guy? Because I know I do. But apart from that, it was good. It did what it did. It did what it needed to do as a palate cleanser. So yeah, book 13 was Trapped with My Teacher, also by Penny Wilder. I gave it 4 stars as well. It's about this university or college girl, like she just needed a break from life and decided to take a ski trip, and on her way to the resort or to the lodge, whatever they call it, you know, a snowstorm started and she ended up didn't making it. She found this random cabin on the way, and she was not alone there. Her professor, who is the main reason why she needed a break, was there, and shit happened. I don't need to say anymore. Book 14 was Her Dirty Professor by Penny Wilder as well. I gave this 3.5 stars. The 0.5 was because of the spice, not gonna lie. Book 15 was My Dad's Bossy Friend, also by Penny Wilder. I gave it 3.5 stars, and just like the other one, the 0.5 was because of the spice. And the girl's father in this book, he was an ass. He was an ass. And I just love how the hero like knew that she was competent and stood up for her when her father was being a total pain in the behind. Okay, book 16 was Boss of Mine, another novella by Penny Wilder. I gave this 3.5 stars, and really and truly it got the 0.5 because of the smuts, not gonna lie. But this book, the female main character was so dumb. Like, you got coffee spilled on you, right? And who in their right mind would go into the conference room where you have a meeting starting in a couple minutes to change your now stained top? Like, why would you do that and not expect anyone to walk in on you? Especially if like your boss is the one who is heading the meeting. Why would you do that? I'm sure there are many toilets around there. But anyways, she did that. Her boss like walked in, saw her topless, and he liked what he saw. Yeah, but it was just dumb. Book 17, His Summer Intern by Jessica Kane, and this is the first 5 stars I've ever gave a Jessica Kane book, and I don't know, for the life of me, I don't know why it got the 5 stars. But this novella, it was so messed up, and I think that's the reason why I even gave it the 5 stars, because both main characters are mentally in the head. And we also love a man who will unalive people for his woman. We love that in a man. But yeah, gave it 5 stars. The book 18 was Coaxing the Roughneck, also by Jessica Kane, and it got 3.5 stars. And honestly, if you know of Jessica Kane's work, you know, like, there's not much to be said at this point. But yeah, book 19 was I Got You by Miss Jenna Sequoia, and it is a black romance, and it was hands down one of the nastiest book I have ever read. There are 3 scenes in this book that made me ask, like, when, Lord, when? You know, but Genesis, that's the male main character, is a man after my own heart. And when he saw Jordana, the female main character, he knew he wanted her, and he went after her despite her, like, you know, dipping and whatever. But I think I might just do a whole video on that book because there's so much. Whew, I gave it 5 stars. I gave it 5 stars. Book 20 was All Roads Leads Here by Mariana Zapata, and that was another 5 stars from August. I found it really wholesome, and it's about this female main character named Aurora who, like, you know, just needed a fresh start in life and decided to move back to the old town where her mom raised her. And it's a small town, and she reconnected with old friends, made new ones, and found new love. Book 21 was Dear Heart, You Screwed Me by, did you guys hear that a while ago? That was my stomach. Dear Heart, You Screwed Me, and it's by Ashley Rose. I gave it 4.5 stars. It's basically moving to a whole other continent after losing her husband. Or female main character starts a new chapter of her life only to find out that her newfound man is actually her newfound best friend's dad. And there's some other, like, cute connections that I really liked in it. I don't remember if I said the rating. The rating for the book was 4.5 stars. The last book of August was Signed and Sealed Baby, also by Ashley Rose, and I gave it 4 stars. Or female main character, I don't remember her name, is a high-end escort who has a client who literally pays her just to talk. He pays her just to talk to her, and the male main character or hero is the client that pays her to talk. And from I saw this, like, I just figured that, you know, like, he likes her and he just doesn't want to pay to have sex with her. So yeah, so our hero, like, he discovered that there's a clause like within the whole inheriting the family's business, and he needs to at least be married or have an heir. And because he has not found anyone who he'd like to be married to, he decided that, like, the only woman that he could think of, like, marrying or would trust enough to have a child with is our female main character. And throughout the whole thing, like, they realized that, oh, I actually like you, and the relationship grew from there. But yeah, so that's all the books I read in August, all 22 books that I read and listened to in August. And I just want to say thank you for staying with me this far. If you've made it this far, this is the end. And I hope you enjoyed it, and that there's a book that you may like. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.